Not long ago, I had an experience that many of you might dismiss as trivial. But for me, it was a brutal wake-up call, a literal slap in the face from the universe. I was cruising down the highway, music blasting, my mind wandering through the mundane details of what I'd have for dinner or how next month's project would unfold. Then, in a heartbeat, a truck ahead of me blew a tire. Shards of jagged rubber whipped past my windshield, missing me by mere millimeters. In that fraction of a second, every plan for tonight or next month evaporated into thin air. All that remained was a haunting, deafening silence. We often live as if we have an infinite supply of time. We delay kindness, we postpone our passions, and we put a rain check on love, all under the dangerous illusion that we can do it tomorrow. But the Stoics offer us a reminder that is as ruthless as it is compassionate. Memento Mori. Remember, you will die. It sounds grim, doesn't it? But in reality, it is the only key to truly start living. If you knew you had only 1 week left on this earth, would you spend it mindlessly scrolling through your phone? Would you lose your temper over a toxic comment online? The answer is always no. So why do we indulge in these things now? Simply because we think we have 50 years left. Part 1. Fame is a gift you'll never get to open. Marcus Aurelius, the most powerful man in the known world at the time, had a sobering reminder for himself. Alexander the Great and his mule driver both ended up in the same place. Both were consumed by worms. Both were reduced to the same scattering of dust. The true distinction lies not in what they left behind for posthumous praise, because after 100 years, nobody will actually remember who you are anyway. The true distinction is this: what did they do with the fleeting moments when they still drew breath? Do not drive yourself to build a legacy for the crowd to cheer once you are gone. That is sheer vanity. A real legacy is the way you treat the people around you right now. If you are too busy manufacturing fame that you forget to sit down and play with your children, or to call your mother, then you are not building a legacy, you are constructing a castle made of sand. And when death finally sweeps in, it will wash that castle away, leaving you with nothing but regret. I have a friend, a man who dedicated 15 years of his life to building a company. He declined his friends' weddings. He missed his children's bedtimes. He worked until 2 in the morning every single day, and he succeeded spectacularly. The company was acquired for millions of dollars. His name was splashed across the headlines. But 6 months after that deal was finalized, absolutely no one was mentioning his name anymore. Marcus Aurelius is not remembered because he longed to be remembered. He is remembered because of the way he lived, because of the decisions he made every single day, and the kind of human being he chose to be in the smallest, quietest moments of his life. So the real question is this: what are you truly living for right now? Part 2. The Usurpers of Time. Seneca made an incredibly sharp observation. We are the most tight-fisted when it comes to our money, yet we are the most reckless and extravagant with our time, the only thing we can never, ever get back. If someone tried to snatch $100 from your pocket, you would fight back. If someone encroached on a single square meter of your land, you would file a lawsuit. And yet, we willingly allow pointless meetings, toxic arguments, or hours of mindless scrolling to rob us of entire years of our lives. We permit others to occupy our minds for free. Imagine your time as an hourglass. The sand at the top is the future. You have no idea how much of it remains. The sand flowing through the neck is the present. And the sand that has already fallen? That is death. Yes, the past is death. Whatever you did just 5 minutes ago now belongs to eternity. You will never get it back. Every time you say, "I'm just killing time," be careful. Time is the one killing you. Do not live as if this life were a free gift given in perpetuity. Live as if you are borrowing it, knowing the creditor can come to collect at any moment. Part 3. A lesson on the ones we love. This is the most difficult part of Stoicism, applying Memento Mori to the people we love most. Marcus Aurelius advised that when you kiss your child goodnight, you should whisper to yourself, "Maybe they won't wake up tomorrow." It sounds cruel, doesn't it? It sounds like a dark omen, But think again. If you truly etched that thought into your mind, would you still scream at your child for spilling a glass of milk? Would you still rush them to sleep just so you could be free to get back to work? Or would you hold them a little tighter, lingering in their warmth for just a few moments longer? We suffer so deeply when we lose our loved ones because we naively believe they will always be there. We treat their presence as a given. Memento Mori does not teach you to be cold. It teaches you how to love more fiercely. Death is what gives love its value. If a flower never withered, it would be nothing more than a lifeless plastic ornament. It is precisely because the flower will fade that its bloom is so radiant. Do not wait for a funeral to speak your words of love. Say them now, for another time may never come. Part 4. We own nothing. Everything is on loan. Look at the phone in your hand, the car you drive, or the house you live in. You think you own them? You're wrong. You are merely looking after them on behalf of fate. Epictetus, a slave who rose to become a philosopher, taught this. Never say, "I have lost it," but rather, "I have returned it." Is your child gone? You have returned them to the Creator. Is your property stolen? You have returned it to life. I have a friend who recently went bankrupt after 10 years of building his career. He was completely devastated. I asked him, "Before you started this business 10 years ago, what did you have?" He answered, "Nothing at all." In that case, he has simply returned to his original state. Everything he possessed over those 10 years was merely a bonus lent to him by life. When you understand that everything, including this very body, is on loan, your anxiety begins to fade. You will enjoy things while you have them, but you will not collapse when it is time to give them back. This is absolute freedom. Nothing can truly hurt a person who knows they own nothing at all. Part 5. Proof of life. The most critical question is not how many years you have lived. As Seneca said, many a man has reached old age with no other proof of his long life than his years. Do not let your life be reduced to a dry set of numbers on a tombstone, 1,980 to 2,060. That tiny dash in the middle is everything you have. What have you filled it with? Fear? People-pleasing? Or the courage to be exactly who you are? Living stoically is not about sitting still and waiting for the end. It is about knowing you will die, and therefore choosing to live a life that is worth being long. It is the courage to quit the job that is strangling your soul. It is the strength to forgive the person who hurt you, not because they deserve it, but because your time is too precious to waste on hatred. It is the audacity to live truthfully, even when the rest of the world turns its back on you. Steve Jobs said in his famous Stanford commencement address, "Death is very likely the single best invention of life. It is life's change agent. It clears away everything that is non-essential." Conclusion: let death lead the way. If you are feeling stuck, if you are consumed by worry over trivial matters, try this exercise. Close your eyes and imagine you are lying on your deathbed in the final minutes of your life. You look back at this very moment, right now. What would you wish you had done? Let death be your advisor. Do not fear it. Instead, use it as a fire to burn away your hollow fears and to illuminate the path you need to walk. Do not live as if you have 1,000 years. Live now. Be kind now. Be brave now. Because, as the Stoics often said, you could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think. Death is not the most terrifying thing. Living a wasted life is. If you are committed to cherishing every single moment, starting right now, leave a comment saying, "I am alive." Tell me one thing you will do today for the person you love. If these philosophies are helping you reclaim the value of your time, please hit the like button and subscribe to join us on the Stoic path. Thank you for watching.